Welcome back, people. I've got the bike under wraps so far. What we've done, I'll just give you a little teaser. That's it. I did end up taking the bike back further than I originally planned. I done a full engine out, strip down, but that's under wraps for now. Today's video, we're going to have a look at the forks. I want to restore the forks anyway, change the oil because I don't know when that was done, and also I've noticed that the one fork is weeping a little bit from the seal, so I've ordered up some new oil seals and dust seals. We're gonna restore. I've started restoring the one stanchion. You can see the difference, and basically we're gonna strip them down, paint them black, do an oil change. Now again, I'm going to be going to the manual, Haynes manual. I managed to find one that covers a load of different Chinese bikes, and this one we're going to be using, if I can get him to open to the page, going to the frame and suspension side. This is going to give me all my torque settings. It's also going to give me my levels, but what I'm dealing with is fork oil change, and then this covers everything you need to know how to do it step by step, but obviously we're going to cover that in the video. I've had a few comments and questions about where am I actually getting parts for the Lifan. I'm here in the UK, and the company I'm using currently is called Chinese Motorcycle Parts Online. That's where you'll find them. They are reasonably priced, fairly quick turnaround on delivery, and they do seem to carry, I'd say, 70% of the parts in stock. I've ordered various bits from them. The main things I've had back were the oil seals and dust seals. I think the set for the seals and the dust seals, I think it came to something like £8, which again, you can't go wrong. So what we're going to be using today, obviously fresh fork oil. This bike requires 10 weight. Again, check your book, make sure you know which one you need. Gloves, obviously. Dust seals, fork seals later on. I'm going to be using a 6mm long reach Allen socket. An Allen key will do, but I just happen to have a set of long reach as well with a socket, and then a fork seal driver. Now if you haven't got one of these, you can make do with a piece of PVC pipe and some clamps on the stanchion, bang 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 to knock it down. You'll see as we go along, I'll explain it to you anyway. So I'll put it on the tripod and we'll make a start. I'll concentrate on the weeping seal for now, but then I'll be doubling up with the other side as well. Stay tuned, people, and welcome back. Right, I've got the fork line down on the bench. The first job I always do, if you look underneath the bottom of the fork leg, you'll see that buried deep inside there's a 6mm Allen head bolt. Now I need to loosen that off first before I take the top bolt off. So again, I'm using my long reach Allen head, and I need to crack that off. Don't take him all the way out because obviously all your fork oil will run out. It's just to loosen him and then nip him back up just to seal him, while we then potch with the other side. I'll put it on the tripod and we can go from there. That's it. Tighten him back up. Job done. Next, in the vise with a rag, wrapped up nice and secure. Next up, going to be using 22mm socket on the top nut, the crown nut. Now you've got to be careful because obviously there's a spring inside your fork that's under tension. So as you're slackening this off, make sure that you don't just undo it all the way and it pops up and smacks you in the face. So keep your head out of the way. You can use a rag to try and hold down if you want, but I always keep pressure down on the socket. So you've got to see if you can tighten the fork enough. There. So he's cracked. So I'll just keep undoing him, pressing down. There he goes. And that's your top nut. Next up, tip the leg up, empty the oil, and have a look at splitting. Stay tuned. Right, I've got a tub for the old oil. I've got the fork leg that I'm going to strip out, the spacer tube, and put that down. Now I'm going to build, can you see that? On my bench I'm going to build the fork as it comes out. So first of all I'm going to empty out the oil, which is mangan. Right, so we had a little spacer in there, and the spring. Look at the colour on that. I'll bring you in for a closer look once we're done emptying now. Right, so I'm going to tip him up now so that the spring comes out. Can you see catching any oil as it comes out? I know that came out that way. And lastly I'm going to undo, if you remember that 6mm Allen bolt, I'm going to undo that so that the rest of the actual sleeve pin comes out. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing because it's behind the camera. So sometimes if this just spins, you'll have to put pole down in just to stop him from turning while you undo it, which I think this one is. So I'll do a little pole down in, undo him, and then bring you back on the table once you've got the parts laid out. Okay, next up is the dust seal. You use a screwdriver or a little pick to lift that up out of the way. Take that off. And next up, if you look inside, we got a little retaining spring there. So we need to get a screwdriver under one side, pop him up, same the other side, just pop him out of his seat. Sorry if you can't really see. There he goes, he's popped out, and you're left then with the actual dust seal itself, the oil seal, I do apologise. Right, so I'll put it back on the tripod and we'll have a look at getting the seal itself out. Right, so the technique I'm using I've got a rag around the stanchion, and I'm just using the stanchion itself as like a slide hammer to drive that seal back out. Takes a bit of going, because obviously everything's a little bit slippery, so we'll see how far we get. There she goes. That's the stanchion out. You've got another ring around. Put that down, and then that's the actual oil seal. So we'll pry that out. Like so. And you've got 2 more collets after that, which we'll clean up and put on the bench. But basically that is the offending seal that's leaking. Take note of how he came out, numbers on top, so that the new one can go back in the same way. So I lay everything out on the bench and you can see exactly how it was all set up. Right, I've got everything laid out on the bench now as it physically came off the fork. So we started off obviously with the bottom fork leg, then the stanchion at top. So that was the small 6mm Allen head that we had to undo. There is a small copper washer that will be replaced on there to seal. Then you had the bottom stem. You had the spring, the spacer tube, then a washer, if you remember that fell into the fluid. Then we had another spacing ring with another washer. We had the seal, then the retaining clip, and finally the dust seal. And then lastly then was the actual top nut, the yoke nut. And again, there's a small rubber O-ring on there that'll be replaced as well once I clean the top of that nut up. So that is basically the fork disassembled. So we'll start rebuilding now. Put you on the tripod and I'll just carry on working away. It's basically the reverse of everything we just did. Just a quick note, I wanted to show you how bad the oil had gone. It looks like the oil in these forks had never been changed. I don't know if you'll see, but you'll see when I'm tipping in, the consistency is totally different. This has gone really thin and runny, but also it's really dirty and contaminated. So it was well worth changing anyway. Even if we didn't have to do the seals, they would have had a fork oil change anyway. Right, back on tripod, we rebuild. Remember to hold on. Welcome back, people. It's been a few days since the last clip, and what I've managed to do is I've reconditioned the forks or the stanchions, rubbed them down and the old chrome covers, and I've given them a nice spray with some nice gloss black. Front wheel's just in there loose at the moment, and I've rebuilt the top yokes, triple trees, whatever you want to call them. So let's get in there. Now, little word, I didn't show filling the forks with the oil, purely for the reason that in the book there is nothing that tells you the volume of oil or the measurement in the fork tube. In the specification section of this Haynes manual, it doesn't give anything with regards to the volume of oil. So I searched and searched the internet. I rang Lex Moto in the UK, a dealer for Chinese imports. They didn't even know how much fork oil to put back in. So I rung around some bike garages as well. Again, because they don't work that often on Chinese bikes, they didn't really have a clue. So the only suggestion that was given was basically this bike is modelled, or the engine at least, and some other parts, off a Honda CG 125. So I've measured the fork tubes, I've measured the overall height, and I've compared it to other 125 forks. Now, the readings that I was being given was between 88 mil and 128 millilitres. So what I've done is I've gone in the middle. I've put in 100 millilitres of 10 weight fork oil. I've compressed the forks, filled them. They all seem to be holding and sealed. So I'm going to leave the bike like that, run it for a little while, see how it feels on the road first, and then go from there. If I feel that it needs a little bit more oil, I'll put more in. If a little bit less, I can always drain some out. So that's the reason I didn't show me filling the oil, purely for the fact I don't want to give you false information. You need to go and check the specs on your bike to make sure that you're putting the right volume of oil in. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned, as there'll be another video coming up pretty soon of how far we get on the build. Hopefully we'll be quite a bit along. So please click, like, subscribe, share, get it out there. Thank you, people. See you soon.